Alright guys and girls, welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Alright, check it out. Right here I got a 2007 Ford Focus with the 2.0 engine. And today we are going to show you how to replace the valve cover gasket. Now we're going to be doing that in order to fix a misfire. What does a valve cover gasket got to do with a misfire? Well, you're about to find out. Coming up on Astral Auto Repairs. Alright guys, let's get started. This is not bad a job at all. The first thing you're going to do is I highly recommend go to Harbor Freight or even go online to Amazon and get you one of these cordless impacts. The one you can put little adapters on the end of there. These things are great. They're going to make a lot of your jobs a lot easier. I'm going to be using an adapter, 3/8 for sockets. 3/8 adapter for sockets, and you can get all different kinds of here. Now, the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to be using, or right now you can use a regular ratchet with probably about a 4-inch extension. I'm using an 8mm deep 3/8 drive, or you can use 5/16. The first thing we're going to do is remove our 4 coils. Now, first we got to unplug the coils. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go through each one. That's just repetitive right there. Let's unplug the coils. Now, in order to plug the coils, you're going to have a little tab right there. You want to squeeze that tab down to the connector and unplug it. You're going to do all 4 of them like that. Next thing you're going to do, your coils is held on by the 8mm or 5/16 bolt right there. So we're going to take our socket and take that up. Just like that. Now, we're replacing all the coils. If you're not replacing all the coils, try to keep them in the same order that you took them out of. Now, here's the reason why we're changing this. See that oil in there? That's because the valve cover gasket not only goes around like this, but it also goes around each of the spark plug ports. And when it goes bad, oil gets down there and it causes a serious misfire. So what I got here, and I got an empty box with something in the little paper in the bottom. Take your coils and just throw them in there. Now your coils might be still good at this point, but I'm not taking any chances. We're going to be replacing them as well. All right, so let's get the other 3 out, and we'll be right back. All right, we got them all out. Now you're going to be careful. You have a little sensor right here in the center of the cylinder head. There's a rubber boot going around here, so that's all you can do. That's all you have to do is just take that rubber boot and pick it up, and you're gonna have the sensor right there. And to unplug this sensor, yeah, it's kind of difficult to get down here, but the tab is right on that side of the sensor, and so you got to squeeze that. Matter of fact, let me get a flat screwdriver. You got to squeeze that tab in just like that, and pick up on it. Pick up on the plug. Just like that. Get that onto the side. The next thing you want to do is you're going to have a sensor right over here. The wire is going to go around right to here. You're going to unplug it at that point right there. Now to unplug that, the tab is right there. Squeeze that tab down into the connector and pull back. That's done. Now, instead of there's a 8mm bolt right there. Don't take that off because you still got to remove this bracket. Follow this bracket around, and I believe it looks like maybe a 13mm bolt. Let me get this onto the side this way. Right here. See that? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use a 13mm shallow socket, 3/8 drive, and I'm going to be using my cordless impact. Alright, got that loose. And what you want to do here, so you don't misplace this bolt, take the bolt out, move the bracket to the side, and put the bolt back in there a couple of threads. So that way you know exactly where it goes. And if you want, you can do that to the coils as well. Alright, so that part is done. We'll be right back. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, guys, now, if you see your harness is going to be kind of tight here. And you need this harness out of the way. So what you want to do is follow along the line. Now, you don't have to disconnect the fuel injectors, but I like to do that because I don't want to pull this harness off to the side and I pull that and break that. So, each of your injectors are going to be held on by a connector. You're going to take that little tab right there, squeeze it into the connector, and then pull up. Very simple. Now, going along the line, we got the other 3 injectors. You know how to take that off, so take that off. Now, you're going to have 2 clips holding on to the valve cover bolt studs. It's right here, and that's part of the harness. Just pick that up off of that like that. Let's get this one unplugged. Go across over here. You're going to have your fuel pressure sensor right here. To unplug this, the tab is on the top. Push that tab in and unplug it. Just like that. Up on there, here's another tab that's holding on to the bolt. Pick that up. Now see, everything is starting to come loose here. Follow along the line. You have your other fuel injector. Disconnect that. Come down the line. You got your 4th fuel injector. Push that tab in. Pick it up. Now, over here, you have your cam sensor. The plug to the cam sensor is in a sucky location. The plug is up under this connector. It is the exact same plug as this right here. So you have to reach up under there, squeeze right there, and unplug it. And sometimes this thing is kind of difficult to do. Son of a biscuit. Now, another thing you can do, guys, if that's complicated for you and you don't even got time for that, grab your 8mm, take the bolt out of the cam sensor, twist it back and forth to break it loose, and pick it up. Simple. Don't even worry about that. And if you want, there's just to let you know, there's the plug to it. I told you, just like identical. See now, why they didn't put it up to the top, I have no idea why they made it like that. You mean the tab? Yeah, the tab. I don't know why they didn't put it up to the top. I don't know. All right, all that is out of the way. We can move all this. You know what? We got this wire right here going to that 8mm. Take that off. Put our bolt back into place. Put it in for a couple threads. And now we can swing all this over. And we'll take that up, take that valve cover up right out of there. Now you got your wiring harness going all across here. And the harness is also hooked onto this stud of the valve cover. So we're just gonna pick that up and just pull that to the side just like that. This is looking good. Now you got one over here too, but this was already broken off. So take that off, take that off. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, next we have this breather hose right here. This breather hose goes from here to the valve cover all the way over here to the air tube hooked up to the throttle body. Now to disconnect this, it's pretty simple. There's a little tab right there. You want to take that tab and bring it down. And that's going to I want to try to make sure I get, you know what, let me get a screwdriver to show you. That tab is going to push down just like that. Once you push that tab down, you'll be able to unplug it. Just leave that right over to the side. And if you want to get that whole thing out of the way, over here is the same thing. It's got the little tab right there. Just push that tab down and well, you can unplug it. I'm not going to unplug it and leave that connected. All right, now, notice the only socket we've been using so far is the 8mm. Well, we're going to continue to use the 8mm. 8mm deep. Now, this time you might want to add a little a short extension to it. Definitely, let's see. Dang it, I don't have an extension here. I'm going to get a 4-inch 3/8 drive extension. And if you have one, make it a wobble extension. I'm going to show you what that means in a minute. And what we're going to have is we're going to have bolts all around. Oh, we got one harness over here going. A harness connected to that bolt. Let's pick that up off of that. Okay. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right over here. Now, and right across from each bolt, you're going to have another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exact. They're going to be right. Well, no, they're not actually across from each other. They're close enough. Then you're going to have one right down here. Okay. Then you're going to have in a bunch of bolts. In the center of the valve cover, you got 1, 2, 3. And when we take them loose, you're going to leave the bolts in the valve cover. Don't try to pull them out and all yet, because that way you get in that, you know where they go in. So like this one, see that? I'm going to leave it right there when I take that out. Actually, it looks like it'll stay in anyway. So, and I can pretty much go around. Whoops. See, that one came out. Didn't want that to come out. That one, yeah. See, I just ticked up on that a little bit. And it looks like I might have to start it now. Now, if you have to take these out, guys, this is what you want to do. I'm gonna show you something here. What you want to do is pick a corner. Like this one right here is number 1. So I'm gonna take this bolt completely out. And I'm going to set it on the ground. And that's number 1. And what I'm going to do is go around the valve cover like this. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4 and put it in. And then when I get to the end, all the way around the side, then I'm going to go to the middle one and then go to the center one. Pretty much got that? Got that, Sevi? So we took out number 1. So I'm going to go number 2, go all around. Then come up to the last one, to that last one, and then go in here. So the number is going to count like that. So this one number 2. And actually, well, it looks like this one, some of them won't even come out. That sucks. That really sucks. What the heck, man? Why did that one come out then? Looks like I'm doing this without an extension. Oh boy. This one came out. So I'm going to say the 2 corner ones and the corner one. But this one's got a longer stud. So on the 4 corners. No, 3 corners. Whatever. 3. Like that. Like that. Alright, we got the rest of them. Got another one that looks just like that one that came out of that corner. How long would it? Again, I don't really think it matters, because that's all it do is hooks on to a couple of things. So I don't think it really matters. Get these center ones. Okay, 2 center ones. Got that. All right, we got all bolts loose. Good. Let's see if it comes up. Of course not. Now what you're going to have to do is find you some kind of a prying point that you can pry this up. And remember, this is plastic, so you want to kind of like be careful. Sometimes you can take like a rubber mallet and just keep tapping it and it'll come up. But let's give us a screwdriver. And what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to go right down here somewhere. And you got to make sure you got all the bolts out. I heard it cracking. Okay. Pick our harness up. Got the harness this over here, hooked up. And take that up. Now we got our valve cover.
You dropped the ball.
Oops, I sure did. And that's the gasket. That's this right here. This gasket right here. That's, well, the whole gasket's all messed up, but that's what's allowing the oil to go in there. Let's turn this back over, because Sylvia said I dropped some bolts in, so I gotta put these bolts back. It's a stud. I know that one is probably this one right here. No, it's probably that one. I don't know, whatever. It's one of them. All right, guys. Now the next thing we're gonna do before we go out here. Now we go up here, and we got oil. Look at that! Look at that chamber right there, just filled with oil. So if you go to take your spark plugs out right now, the oil will drain down into the
battery,
into the cylinder. All right, be right back. All right, we're back. We changed the battery. We didn't go nowhere though. We're still in the same spot. All right, you're gonna have oil all down here. Now, if you go to take out these spark plugs, the oil will drain down into the cylinder. If,
then it'll smoke, right?
That's the least of their problems. The other problem is if it locks the engine up. So what do you mean? How the heck you gonna figure that? All right.
Because it drags up the antifreeze.
Huh?
No?
Nope.
Because of the antifreeze?
Nope.
Okay.
All right. So this is what happened. I'm gonna do this real quick.
Let me get good view of this. Okay.
All right. This is what happens. Your engine has what's called a compression stroke. You got two valves. Both valves are closed. The piston comes up and squeezes all that air and gas, and then the spark plug will go pow, ignite it, and explodes, right? Now, this piston goes up about that much. If you let that oil get into that cylinder and that piston cannot complete its travel all the way up, the engine will actually, boom, lock up. And you be hitting the engine, hitting the key, and it'll be locked up, and then somebody's gonna sell you an engine. So you gotta be careful when you're doing that. Now, either you get some paper towels and stick down there and dry all that up, or what I'm gonna use is my brake bleeder right here. See, it's a brake bleeder, but I use this thing for a lot of stuff, man. You can see. Hook up air to it. Stick the hose down in there. So I'm gonna go over here and get all of them cleaned out, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. Now, if you want, you can get the rest of it out of there. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a piece of paper towel, and this is how you can do it if you don't have that bleeder. And just get you a long screwdriver. Take the paper towel, stick it down there. Use Bounty, because I'm not sure about the other brain brands if they quicker picker upper. Alright, so you got that down there? Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, we go over here. Look,
what happens if you break a piece off
of the paper towel?
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, not as good, but if your engine mess up for some paper towel, you got a grubby engine. That engine should be able to burn that piece of paper towel up if it drops down there with no problem whatsoever. And we just noticed something as we were looking at this. Look at the spark plug over here. The spark plug is loose. Well, you might ask, well, what kind of problems can that cause? None really.
Lift the piece. Right there.
None really. The worst that can happen is that on this comes up back on this compression stroke. Maybe a little bit of air comes out of there. Maybe. No, it will. So yeah, it might cause maybe a very slight misfire, but I doubt it. All right, so now let's get our spark plugs out of there. The spark plug's going to be in there by using a 5/8 deep socket, a spark plug socket, or a 16 millimeter, and that's exactly what I'm going to be using, a 16 millimeter deep 3/8 drive, and my 8.5 inch 3/8 drive extension. Put it down there, and use a 3/8 ratchet, or in my case, I'm going to be, I shouldn't tell them to do this, but yeah, you can do that. Use my cordless impact, and it won't work, so that's good anyway. So get my 3/8 drive ratchet. Oh man, I don't like where that comes in. Guys, if you get one that's really stuck in there like that, loosen it up, and then tighten it back up, and keep on going back and forth until that thing breaks loose. Now, if you got a spark plug socket, you're going to pick this up and your spark plug is going to come out with the socket. If you don't, like I do, what I like to do, that's also putting in the spark plugs, is use a 3/8 hose. So in that way, just go down there, push it onto the spark plug, and take it right out. Just like that. Alright, so let's get the other 3 out, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we are ready to start putting everything back together. The next step is cleanup time. We got to clean up all the old gasket. So we're going to take a rag. And you notice there's no gasket on this. I mean, there's no gasket material because the gasket is rubber. So you're not going to have nothing that you have to really scrape. So you're just going to take your rag and just go around the whole thing and clean it up. Now, if you come across a part that needs to be scraped and all, you can take or a hard spot to reach. Take your rag, take a screwdriver, put it like that, and you can go around, especially like right there at that corner, and that's some silicone right there. So I'm gonna show you where to put that at. And just go around. It makes this might be a little bit easier. Just go ahead. So let's get all that cleaned up, and then we're gonna prepare the valve cover. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, let's prepare the valve cover. We cleaned this up a little bit. It had a lot of oil and stuff around it.
Good.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is turn it over. Just wipe it out. Now your old gasket is going to be in here, so we're just gonna do is just pull these. Dang, this thing had to been in there since original, man. Pull that out. If you get a hard time, get you a little bitty screwdriver or something and pick that out. Okay, and what you're gonna do, take out this one right here, and then take out the big one going around here. Now, before we put the new one in, you're gonna see there's gonna be a lot of oil inside of there. So what you're gonna do is take you some carburetor cleaner, clean that, spray that out, and then get some air to dry it out. Because if you don't, when you put the new gasket in there, because of that oil in there, it might come right back out as you're going to install it. So let's get all that out, get it cleaned up, and then we're gonna install the gasket together. Be right back. Alright guys, we got it all cleaned up, dried it out, air dried it. This thing is coming out great. Now the gasket set we got is Victor Reigns. There's your part number. Alright, so we're going to open this up. Oh man. Yeah, open up. Alright, so we got all our pieces right here. Now, you see these little dimples sticking out, or nodules. Nodules is a good word. I got that from my doctor.
What kind of nodules do you have?
So, no, he said he couldn't find none, so that's good.
He couldn't find any nodules?
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, so these little nodules right here, they stick out and they hold the gasket into place. But again, if you got oil saturated in there, it's still not going to hold. So, wait a minute. Oh, there it is. I'm about to say. Let's start off with our center ones. There are two different ones over here, so you can't get them mixed up. And that's what you want to do is line it up to where it goes. And just push down. And that's it. As long as everything is dry and good, it's going to stay into place. Alright, so let's go to our big one over here. Now the big one, you notice how it's got that little curve on it right there. So that's all you have to do, is just line up where it goes. Put it on. Same thing. Push it down. Same thing goes with this one, and the same thing goes with the outer one. Alright, so let's get our gasket in place, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, before we put our valve cover on, let's get our spark plugs in there so it'll make it a lot easier. Now, I know NGK says do not use any kind of anti-seize or any lubricant on their spark plugs because you don't need it and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't listen to them at all because if that spark plug seizes up inside that head, NGK is not going to sit here and reimburse you for anything. So, always, no matter what it is, always use some anti-seize. And this method right here is called the 007. Instead of putting my finger in there, take a little Q-tip, put it on the Q-tip, and just put a thin coat right around it, just like that. Now we're not gonna do. I'm gonna show. You're gonna do the other ones off camera. So once you got it done like this, get your 3/8 hose. Put the spark plug on there, just like that. Bring it up to the engine. Let's start off with number 1. Lower it down, and what you want to do is turn it. And you want to make sure it turns in freely, about 3 to 4 turns, so in that way you do not cross-thread it. Once you get it in there, pull the hose off. Grab your 16mm socket, deep or 5/8. Put it up there. Turn it in. And then grab your 3/8 drive ratchet. And what you're going to do is go till it stops and a little bit more. That's it. That one is done. Now let's get our other 3 done and we'll be ready to put the valve cover on. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're ready to install our valve cover. No, we're not ready to install our valve cover. Notice on your gasket you have these 2 points right here. Notice how they stick out more right there and right there. Now what that is over here where the timing cover meets the cylinder head, there's a little, let's scrape that off. Because they meet like that, there's a chance of oil seeping past by there and leaking. So what you do is take some gasket maker and you put some right there and you put some right there. Just a dab. That helps seal that. Now, don't scrape it while you're putting the cover back on. Now, if you want, have an assistant or something, somebody.
Would it be easier to put it on the head?
Yes, it will be easier to do that.
So,
Okay. Yeah,
but are you laughing at me?
No, but I didn't do that. No, seriously, it would be. She wait good till I put it up on the valve cover.
That's what
Then
do.
she wait good till I put it on the valve cover. Then she say, "What?" And do it on camera, no less. All right, you want to hold your valve cover up. You want to hold your harness up. Carefully bring your valve cover in. Slowly bring it down. Once you bring it down, take your hand, go to the bolts.
Take your hand with your other hand, or?
Yeah, take one of the hands, okay. And you just want to turn that in. Or if you want to make it even, where the heck did the socket go?
Up there? I don't know.
Where the heck did the 5/8 socket go? Here we go. Take the 5/8 socket and just turn them in just by a couple threads, just by hand, just to make sure they are going in before we tighten them all up. So let's get them all started and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got all our bolts started. Now tightening this up, what you want to do is start from the center and then work your way out. So actually what we're going to do here, dang it, that'd be nice if I get the socket. What we're going to do here is take this one. You want to bring it down till it stops and a little bit more. That's it. Now, if you want to know the torque, look it up somewhere. I don't know. And put it in the comment section so somebody else can know. So, this microphone. So we go this one till it stops and a little bit more. Now we're going to work on the ones in the middle. So what we're going to do, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So now the center is done. And then you're going to work your way out until the last ones. Alright? So let's get all of them tightened up and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got that done. This job is coming out good. Now what we're going to do is just go in the reverse order. So we ended up back here with the hose. So we just take the hose, put that on, it's going to snap right into place. Bam. Walk your way over here to the cam sensor. What the heck is it? There it is right there. Take our bolt out. Make sure it don't drop down into there. Put it in. Start it by a couple threads. And then you're going to tighten that one up. Come around here. We got this harness over here that hooks on to right there. Put that on. Then you got your injector. Walk your way. Where we at? Okay, over here. Injector. Connector. Just put it up there a little bit. We got this plug over here for the fuel rail pressure sensor. Put it on until it clicks. Walk your way up. Injector. Connector. Put it on. Now we can push that down, and the one on the other side, push it down. Walk over here to your last or first injector. Go around. Take that 13mm bolt out that you put over here. Bring that over there. Start that off by a couple of threads. 13mm. Tighten that up. Come up here.
Sorry.
Got this little ground wire with this 8mm bolt.
That.
Yeah, heck yeah, don't forget that. Put that in there. Start that off by a couple of threads, and that is good. Alright, so let's tighten up the 3 bolts. 1 13mm over here, 8mm over here, go all the way around, and the 8mm on the cam sensor. Alright, let's get those tightened up, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do, let's finish our sensor over here. Finish connecting this up over here. Plug it in till you hear it click. Bam. Walk you around. We got this. We got the sensor over here. Sylvia just yelled at me off camera, said don't this have to be cleaned up? And I was like, no. She looked at me crazy. So we're going to just wipe that off. And as you can see how it fits inside the valve cover. Little groove right there. Alright. Actually guys, there is a little bit of oil down inside there, inside that connector. So what I'm going to do is get some carburetor clean, just spray that a little bit and dry it out, because that oil will cause a short, and you definitely don't want that. So let's get that cleaned up, and then just get our new, can't hardly see it in there, right?
It got blurry. Yeah, I see it.
So, yeah, let's get that cleaned up and get our new coils as well. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, you know, actually I believe this is the VVT. So this one looks like it. Let's get this, let's wipe this off a little bit, man. Dang it. Alright, so let's plug this up. Okay. And put a cover on it. And that is done. The next thing we do is get our new coils. We are using Bosch coils. Definitely get you a good name brand coil. There's a part number. All 4 are identical. So don't worry about getting one for each cylinder.
Is there such a thing?
Not that I know of. Let's get our coil. Ooh, that's Bosch. Yeah, buddy. Alright, so go over here. Let's go. This one's easy to do. I'm going to show you one. The other ones are exactly the same. Push it down onto the spark plug. Get it up there. Get your bolt. put your bolt in. Start the bolt off by a couple threads so you don't get it cross-threaded. Get your 8mm, and I use a ratchet. I'm good at using this. If you can get this tool and you can get good at it if you know how to control its speed. Like for instance, you might just know one and that, and then you're gonna strip this. But to control it, you could just get a practice with it for a little while to get used to it, so you'll know exactly how much to tighten it down, just like that. If you don't, then just go till it stops and just a little bit more. Take your plug, put it on till push it until it clicks, and it is connected. All right, let's get the other 3 in, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're plugging up our last one. Now, next thing you want to do is just go over your job, go over your work, make sure everything is connected. What you laughing for? What you laughing for?
Because I remind me of some people say I followed your video step by step, but now my car won't start.
And that's our #1 answer. Go back over. If it wasn't like that when you started the job, it had to be something that you did. So go over your work. Sylvia pointed out we have the vacuum hose right here going to the sensors. It's got a little hole in it, and that's yeah, but it's still holding in there. We're gonna have to. What I'm going to do is just take that off, cut it a little bit. As a matter of fact, let me go do it now. Let me go get a cut this off. Be right back, guys. All right. So instead of replacing the whole hose, that's all you have to do is just cut a piece of it off like that. And even though it's still open like that, the bulk of it will be inside there, so it will seal up. Now you want to be careful of that, because that hose, if it's leaking, it can give you a PO 171. So good, we took care of that. All right, so let's start it up. Now when you start it up, it might run a little rough at first, and it might smoke a little bit because of the other oil, rest of the oil that went down into the cylinders, but then it's going to clear right up. Look at that, man. And yeah, it did smoke a little bit. Look right here, look right here. I don't know if they can see the smoke. Huh?
I don't know either. I think so. Yeah, you can see it.
You can see it. So you're gonna get that a little bit, but it runs great. Look at that, guys. All right, job well done. Pat yourself on the back. Keep it moving. All right, we'll be right back.
Alright, today we had a 2007 Ford Focus with a 2.0 engine, and we showed you how to replace the valve cover gaskets, spark plugs, and coils. If you guys have any comments or questions, you can post it below in the comment section, or you can email Timmy at tim@AstralAutoRepairs.com. Hope you paid attention. If not, watch it again. This is Sylvia from Astral Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can. See you next time.